How do you handle pressure? Because there's athletes around the world that obviously handle it really, or a lot better than others. And how do you handle pressure? Because it's a very individual thing.
Yeah, well, I had a team when I was playing, and one of the guys was a good friend of mine, Jamie Glazier. He was his mental coach, and we would speak daily about those sort of challenges, but mainly through routines like pre-shot routines and post-shot routines and things like that. So just being able to control your emotions and your mindset, because I mean, when you get to a certain level, that what happens between your ears is probably the determining factor in a lot of ways. I mean, you work on your swing and technique and short game, and there's so many elements, but that mental side of it is probably the one. And I used to work on it. I mean, people would say like, how much did you practice and things like that, but I mean, as a elite, tour player, anyone who's done anything to that level, it's just your whole life. So I used to do meditation, used to do all sorts of stuff to try and grow that and deal with the pressure. So, but I mean, it's hard. That's why you see people win tournaments and they cry, because it's so hard to do,
Yep.
But it was always a challenge especially when there's a lot of pressure, and there's always every year you're trying to keep your card or you're trying to win, and so there's a lot of consequence if you don't play well. So being able to control your mind is, but again, that's one of the challenges with golfers. I think they don't realize that that's why they do it, because it's so hard. Like the challenge is what draws you to it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what, looking back, drew me to the game as well.
So, yeah, the mental side of things in most sports, I feel like, is a massive part, in golf's obviously the same. If you're obviously struggling mentally and you're under heaps of pressure and you fall into that pressure, how crucial or impactful is that on the way you play?
Yeah, well, I think golf's pretty unique. Well, not completely unique, but it's an individual sport. So, and the ball's not moving, so there's no reactionary sort of aspect to it. So you have to hit a stationary ball whenever it's your turn. So it's that time between you take it away when you hit is the time when you need to be in control. And also there's not that element with, if you say I play for the Cats and I'm a bit down for a few weeks, but I'm still part of the team and we have a few wins. Like people can lift you up, but golf's really like when you're in between the ropes or on the course, like you've got to figure out ways to get through. So, but it's a huge factor in your performance, and you have to have, things have got to be lined up in your mind with your life as well. So people underestimate that. Like if you've got things happening off the golf course and you're trying to perform under high stress, it's just not going to happen. So, that's why you see some of the guys who are out on the tour and they're having struggles maybe with their marriage or whatever, and their golf drops. So there's no surprise.
It's a very mentally impacted sport in this case. It's very isolated. You're right. It's any individual sport. I guess the mental side of things is extremely vital. Did you have a particular win or round that you've been involved in that was your proudest moment in golf? You can pin it down to one.
That's a tough one. I mean, I do remember a couple like that, and they're not what you would think. Like that tour school that I had to go back to in 2015 because I'd been out for a while. So that was, I think it was at Moona Links, and I was I was miles out of getting a card in the last round, and I had 7 under in the last round at the Open course at Moona, and got my card like the last card. So that was kind of cool. And then I got to play like the season the next year because of that. So that was just completely random. So that was one. But I've had times when, I've won a big Pro-Am or something, and I had, you wouldn't, I've had no money in the bank, so I've gone and I've won a big Pro-Am and won like $10,000 right before Christmas sort of thing.
It's a nice
that
bonus.
happened one year, and I was like, that's
sweet.
That makes you feel like, it makes you feel good, because that's like the max pressure. You hear about all the people only ever hear about the guys on the tour, and but that financial element for them is not quite there. I don't think. I shouldn't talk for them, but but when you got no money in the bank, and then you go and shoot 8 under or something, and you can provide for your family, like that's a big deal. So it's hard to pin down, exact rounds and things like that, but I've had a lot of good moments.
Yeah. What about the most pressured moment where you've felt like, you've been under the most pressure in terms of a shot or leading up to a game? Can you pin down to one of the most pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think one moment I can think of would be, I was playing my first Australian Open at the Australian, and I think it was 2006 or 7, maybe 2006. And I was sort of running top 10 after 2 rounds, and I was playing, and I got paired with Stuart Appleby in the third round, in about third last group of the day. And that was when he was like top 10 in the world.
Yep.
And that was a big moment, like hitting off the first tee at the Australian, and with big crowd. He was a big star. He was winning those events in Hawaii every year at that point. And that was a lot of pressure hitting off that first tee. So, and I felt that, but
did you nail it?
No, I hit it way right.
I
think I made pass. That was all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I mean, there's just a lot of times, and I think looking back when I was younger, I think there was a lot of moments like that. But because I was young and I was so driven, and I was a bit arrogant probably, and a bit too confident of what I should have been, but it didn't affect me as much, which is what you want. Like you need to have a little bit of ignorance to make it in the game. I mean, as I got older, you lose that a bit, but you gain maturity. So
yeah,